is to build a moral movement that can reclaim the tools of government, hold people accountable for their crimes, and reconstruct a democracy committed to liberty and equality for all. And I hate to dwell on the violence, but we've heard virtually nothing about Keith Porter Jr.'s killing by an off-duty ICE officer in LA earlier this month, in part because there's no video, but more likely because he's Black. Mr. Porter was a 43-year-old father of two. Porter had been firing a gun into the air to observe the New Year's Eve holiday when someone who has not been identified, arrested, or charged thought that he should pay for that with his life. And so I have been thinking of all of that, all that we are carrying. And just as I began the slow, familiar descent into despair, my own personal tipping point, I was reminded of these ancient words spoken by Jesus. Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me. For I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. The idea that God knows just how heavy my individual sack of troubles is so comforting. I feel seen to think that divinity itself can see that my knees are about to buckle under the strain. I can't take any more breaking news, God. I can't learn the beautiful backstory of one more martyr who didn't want to be a martyr. I may just collapse myself if I hear one more devastating diagnosis, one more altering or life-ending tragedy. The next disappointment may be the first domino to fall, the one that collapses the whole intricate structure that is me. But getting back to God's intervention for my despair, y'all, can I just admit something that's really embarrassing? When I think of this verse from Matthew chapter 11, I am so far removed from my agricultural ancestors that when I hear the words, take my yoke upon you, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light, I was thinking of yoke, Y-O-L-K, as in the best part of a sunny side up egg, rather than yoke, Y-O-K-E. Am I the only one with such poor vocabulary to make this mistake? Now that I have the story straight, let's talk about what this verse actually means, other than a delicious option for a breakfast menu. Let's get I was going to get the opening slide back up. You have it on the cover of your bulletins, but there is an image of what a yoke actually is. It's a wooden cross piece that is fastened over the necks of two animals and attached to the plow or cart that they are to pull. The origins of the yoke date back to ancient civilization, where it was first employed to harness the strength of working animals. Archaeological evidence suggests that yokes were used as early as 4000 BCE in Mesopotamia, where oxen were yoked to plows for agricultural purposes. The design of these early yokes was rudimentary, typically made from wood and shaped to fit comfortably across the necks of oxen. They allowed for efficient plowing and transportation. As societies progressed, so too did the design and functionality of the yoke. By the time the Roman Empire happened, yokes had evolved to accommodate different types of animals, including horses and camels. The Romans developed more sophisticated versions, often crafted with durable materials like iron or advanced woodworking techniques. They understood that both comfort for the animal and efficiency for labor were essential in maximizing productivity. Here's why any of this matters. We have the ability to turn our tools into symbols. The primary purpose of this brilliant low-tech device has always been to facilitate labor by evenly distributing the weight and force exerted by draft animals. If ever there was a time to share our burdens before we fall into despair, it's now o'clock. How do we fight a system built on fear? It's a tall order, but I believe that low-tech solutions will suffice. I know that we have exactly enough to thrive, as Adrienne Marie Brown reminds us in the first reading. I know that miracles come from us, from our underground deeply rooted, well-nurtured networks of connection and care. I know that we can expand what is politically possible. And by the way, when exactly did human dignity become partisan anyway? We must make the world we need to live in. What low-tech skills contribute to your groundedness and resilience? To answer that question, just think about what you've been doing while trapped in your house surrounded by piles of snow. Did you shovel your neighbor's property? Or maybe massage your spouse's shoulders after he or she did? Maybe you read dystopian fiction for a vivid evocation of another world where characters learn to survive impossible circumstances with hope and dignity. Some of you signed petitions and called elected officials to demand that they not approve funding for ICE. Maybe you saw your therapist over the computer screen. Did you call someone you've been worried about for a heart-to-heart and ask what Alex Preddy's last words were? Are you okay? Maybe you walked your dog or a neighbor's dog despite the cold, or took a beautiful photo of the sunset and texted it to people who need beauty. Did you make an elaborate or simple meal with love? Did you knit something, paint something, write something? I had fun writing a sestina, a poem with 6 stanzas, and a final triplet that has rules that result in god-awful poetry. Notice that my first reading was not that sestina, you're welcome. You have one pastor who is good at poetry. Was your low-tech survival strategy simply telling the truth about how you're feeling? Maybe you watched the final season of Queer Eye like I did, and were inspired by people telling the story of their lives and the pattern that always emerges from that show. Those who give the most of themselves often don't know how to be good self-advocates and caretakers. They don't know how to let their guard down enough to ask for or accept help. This is why they need the Queer Eye intervention. When was the last time you told your story or asked someone to share theirs? It is the telling that heals us. Maybe you've read long-form essays on Substack written by people like Sean Sherman, the sous chef, an indigenous chef in Minnesota. He says, "We face fear directly by naming what's happening clearly and publicly. When fear is named, it loses power because silence is its fuel. The particular fear we're facing in Minneapolis is displacing 3 things: movement, food, and information. For resistance," he says, "we should be focusing directly on those. If transit feels unsafe, we build rideshare programs. If stores feel dangerous, we deliver food safely. If lies are spread, we circulate the truth locally and loudly. We have exactly enough to thrive. The miracles come from us." In a recent discussion, the jazz singer Nina Freelon said about this moment, "My music is saving me, my writing is saving me, my children are saving me. Little moments of beauty I have to search for to remind myself that all is not lost." You should know that you inspire me exactly as you are, even if all you've been doing is putting together a jigsaw puzzle. It's a low-tech skill that contributes to your groundedness and resilience. That's what we need right now. The great mystic William Blake said, "There is no greater act than putting another before you." But Mark Nepo says, "Having struggled for a lifetime with letting the needs of others define me, I've come to understand that without the healthiest form of self-love, without honoring the essence of life this thing called self carries, the way a pod carries a seed, putting another before you can result in damaging self-sacrifice and endless codependence. Honoring ourselves is in fact the only lasting way to release a truly selfless kindness to others." Mencius, the grandson of Confucius, says that just as water unobstructed will flow downhill, we, given the chance to be what we are, will extend ourselves in kindness. We do not need discipline to be kind, just an open heart. "Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, For I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Let's be yoked together. I'll lighten your load even as you lighten mine. Let's turn our tools into meaningful symbols, crush supremacy in the palm of our hands, and then bite down on our fist. The new world is coming through you. This is the good news of God. Amen.